Hey everyone, and welcome to a Readathon wrap-up. Now this particular one, there was not a set time frame. Just once you finish all the prompts, you're done. This one was created and hosted by the Tilted Kettle Book Club. There is a Discord link. I don't think I can link it in the description box. There's one of them that I can only link if I'm a host or co-host or something like that. And I can't remember if this is one. If I can, I'll have the Discord linked below. But Tilted Kettle Book Club, I'll at least have the name of the Discord so you can search it if you so want. So this one, this was called Passing the Time. There were a total of 12 prompts. I finally finished this yesterday. So now these books are already put away, or I just no longer have because they've been unhauled. So I will let you know if I still have this book, or well, I'll let you know if I don't have it, if it's unhauled or whatever it is. So prompt number 1 was read something outside of your normal format. I generally read a physical book, so listening to an audiobook is definitely outside. Now I will listen to an audiobook while I read, but to do just only audiobook, that is outside of my normal format. I listened to Yesternight by Kat Winters. I gave that one 3 stars. I will have the title and the author in the description box. And evidently this was rather forgettable because I don't remember. Was this something about possibly living another life, like reincarnation? I don't remember it. I have forgotten. So it seems like it was pretty forgettable. Let me pull it up on Goodreads because that will help jog my memory. Okay, so my review is that a child psychologist does what she can for a little girl and her family that have someone they think is either troubled in the head or has been reincarnated. So yes, I was right. It does have the reincarnation. This is like kind of like a child psychologist, one of the only females when it was hard for females to get jobs of this sort. Of course, she doesn't get the type of things that she would want as far as the job assignments, but that's what happens at this time. It does have mention of a lesbian relationship, so you do have a little bit of LGBT there as well. She goes to this town and this girl describes her murder, the man she used to be in love with, her sister, from a different life. So she describes how she died in the other life. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay. Prompt number 2 is to read something out of your normal genre or sub-genre. This is from Japan. And I guess it could be just straight up contemporary, but it is poetry. Definitely outside of my normal comfort genre type thing. I do consider poetry its own thing, especially if it's like a contemporary poetry. I did not rate this. Can I tell you what any of the poems are about? No, because it went over my head. I have since unhauled this, and that is For the Fighting Spirit of the Walnut by Takashi Hiraide. I read another book by Takashi. I'm blanking on the title of it that I actually really enjoyed, so I wanted to check out more of Takashi's work. For the Fighting Spirit of the Walnut, for me, was not it. So I haven't hauled that. Went way over my head. So, yeah. Okay, number 3 was to read something you keep putting off. For this one, I read an arc that I had called Real Life by Adeline Dieudonne. I believe this was translated from French. This one does get graphic as far as like animal cruelty that was in there. I ended up giving this one 4 stars and I actually really enjoyed it. This one, you're following this perspective of this girl and her little brother. They go to get ice cream, something malfunctions in the ice cream truck, and it describes this guy's death. And it gets very graphic with the gruesome details with his face. So it obviously traumatizes the kids. The sister thinks that she can start maybe building a time machine to go back into the past to prevent that from happening or to prevent her brother from seeing that incident and being traumatized. You have emotional abuse, you have threat and actual talk of physical abuse in a family dynamic as well. And you're just following as she is very smart, and she really delves into science and tries to figure out if she can really time travel to protect her little brother. Okay, let's go ahead and move on. It's been a long time since I've read some of these, and so I can't really tell you much about them. But again, the title and the author will be in the description box. Number 4 is to read something that was translated from another language, or read a book in a language you don't normally read in often. I can't read in another language. It has to be English. So I read The Chestnut Man by Soren Sviestrup. 4 stars. Holy cow, I love this book. I don't remember what language it was translated from, but it is translated work. You're following a detective. I believe there's at least 2 POVs. And basically there's a serial killer going around, and he leaves little chestnut person figurines with the dead bodies. So you're following the detective as he's trying to figure out who is killing all these people, and it does get very graphic, or very gruesome as far as the murder goes. And they are trying to figure out what's going on. You do see a bit of corruption within the detective police force with certain things that they're wanting to release or not release, who to arrest, not arrest, and things like that. Thinking, you know, just all of this stuff. So there is a little bit of corruption and animosity there. But he's just trying to solve this murder. So I really enjoyed it, partly because it was very graphic with the blood. I like that. Okay, moving on. Prompt number 5. Read something that takes place not in your country. I read an ebook version of Heartstopper Volume 1 by Alice Oseman. I give this a 1 star. For me, it just wasn't it. I think because this is a very much loved and hyped series. For me, it fell flat. I am of the opinion that it is an overhyped book. If you love it, great. You're following this one guy who realizes that he's bi, and you following the perspective of one of the men who is, or the teenagers who's gay, and their relationship. There really wasn't much to it. I personally am of the opinion that this story would have been much better in a novel format rather than a graphic novel. So for me, not for me. I do think it handled certain topics well, like later on in the series, self-harm and eating disorder comes up. I do think those are handled well and respectfully. But again, this series for me fell flat. I think because it was so overhyped and I was really intrigued, just wasn't it. Okay. Prompt number 6, read one of the oldest books off of your TBR. For this one, I read The Woman in White. So I took this literally as far as oldest, not the longest that I have owned it, but oldest as far as publication. The Woman in White was written by Wilkie Collins. It is considered one of the first mysteries. You have this guy who's going to go and teach this girl how to paint. On his way there, he gets flagged down by this woman in white, and there's a bit of mystery with her. You do have a lot of talk of being in an asylum as a woman, and that a lot of people have secrets that they will go to great lengths to hide, including murder. So I liked it. I do recommend it. It's a great classic mystery. So yeah. Okay, number 7 is to read one of the newest books added to your TBR, which was a book added in 2023. For this one, I read Diamond and Dusk by Lyra Selene. I gave this one 4 stars. This is book 2 in a duology. Amber and Dusk, I think, is the first book, which I gave like a 2 or a 3 star. The second book is so much better. So this one we're following the main character. In the first book, she's going from where she was dropped off as a child, which was like this kind of religious orphanage, gets attached to this group of people. One of them becomes her friend. She tries to go to this main like village where she knows that she has family history because she thinks she belongs in the court, basically, you know, royalty type of a thing, and has this special power. So it does has fantastical elements. She's named Mirage because she can create mirages. And then basically this coup starts to happen, or this rebellion to overthrow the current Empress or whatever she's called, and put someone else who should be, according to the people, on the throne. So, and I think the second book was so much better. This was a library book, so I don't have that one. Number 8, read a friend's favorite. This one I read Pumpkinheads by Rainbow Rowell. I have unhauled this one. I gave it 2 stars. There were some things in there that were just my pet peeve, like blowing off work. You're there to work, you do your job. And people that go in and slack and get away with stuff, or like go to clock in but then they go missing. It's such a huge pet peeve of mine, and so that really dragged it down for me. And granted, they are teenagers in this, but for me, I don't care if you're a teenager. There's no excuse. You're there, you do your job. And if you're hunting someone down, then hunt them down after work, or get a note to them or something. Say, hey, I have a question I would like to ask you. Meet me after your shift so I can ask, type of a thing. But to spend the day playing hooky while you're on the clock to work, nope, not my thing. So this one, we're following someone. There's this girl he wants to ask out. He has this crush on her. He works with this other girl. So she's going to help him get to the girl that he has a crush on. And you're just following as they go from stall to stalls, and like a pumpkin patch from all these, I don't even remember all the different stalls, and they just kind of blow things off. And so that really brought that down for me. So I have since unhauled that. Number 9 is to read a book club member's favorite book. For this one, I can't remember the name of the thing, because you have like, I guess it's a channel, but it's under the Tilted Kettle Book Club, and there's a part where you can go and people listed their favorite books. One of the members of the group listed their favorite as The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix. I just finished this one yesterday. I gave it 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. This one, we're following Patricia. She needs to take care of her family. Children go missing, and there's talk of if they're on drugs or if they're being murdered or if they're committing suicide and what's driving them to commit suicide. And Patricia and some of her friends team up together to take down this person they think is a monster. Could be a vampire or something very similar to a vampire. Could be something completely different, but basically he is an evil creature. So, and that's basically it. I had a good time with it. It does get very dark. I did just film, and I don't know which is going to go up first. Either this will go up first or my individual book review for that book will go up. So if you want more details, you can look at the individual book review when it comes up, or if it's already been up. I don't know which one's coming up, this video or that one first. I don't know which one's going to be first. Last 3 prompts, and then I'm going to be done filming for the day. I'm getting a headache. Okay, number 10 is to read one of the book club picks. One of the books, I read this one on Kindle Unlimited when I was still doing Kindle Unlimited, and A Song of the Forever Rains by E.J. Mellow. I gave this one 3 stars. I am intrigued enough to continue. I think the next book will follow a different sister, and then I think the 3rd book will follow the 3rd sister. These sisters have magical abilities. This particular one that we are following in Song of the Forever Rains, this sister can sing beautifully, and it can, her voice can cause harm, and it can heal. And she has to act like she's going to enter into this alliance marriage between kingdoms, but she's trying to uncover something to, yeah, that's pretty much all I can remember. It was fine. I was kind of bored with it a little bit, but there were times where I was really intrigued. I thought the romance was very sweet in it, but it was a very minor thing, and I thought their powers were very interesting. One of the sisters has the power of dance, and one, I think, of playing the violin or some musical instrument. So I am intrigued to continue to follow something else from a different sister. And I've deleted that one because I'm not going to reread it. And where it was on Kindle Unlimited, I don't have Kindle Unlimited anymore, so I don't have access to that. Okay, prompt number 11 is to read a book from a new to you indie author. So a self-published author. For this one, I read an ebook, and that's Too Many Shadows, Too Little Light. I gave this one 4 stars by L.C. Ainsworth. This one, Was this one that... Oh, this is one that the author reached out to me on like Instagram if I wanted to read an advanced digital copy. I gave this one, like I said, I gave this one 4 stars. I'm trying to remember what this one was about. I do believe there was LGBT rep. There was a wide range of racial diversity in it. People go out into space, and it's like there's this rebellion that's gone to overthrow a certain kingdom that's gone undetected because they've been very kind of hush-hush about it. Very covert is the way I want to describe it. And things are hitting the fan, and you're starting to go like, oh shit, we're in trouble type of a thing. So there are people who say one thing, but they're not who they say they are. And you're following the perspective of, I think she's a princess who is going into the army to learn to fight with war so that she can better defend her country. It's been a bit since I've read that one. I need a refresher on that one. But I am intrigued. I definitely want to read the next one, and I don't remember what the next one's called, but I do have a copy of the next book on my Kindle. Okay, this last book, Read a Book from a New to You Author. This one I read the first book in a duology that I mentioned earlier. And the first book is called Amber and Dusk. I believe that's also the name of the series. This one I had a physical copy I got when I used to do an Owl Crate. And I have since unhauled that book. I gave that, it was 2 stars. I gave it 2 stars. I found it dragging. I found it forgettable. Just this girl, like I said earlier. I mean, this is the first book. The one that I liked the most was Diamond and Dusk. And so I told you more of what Amber and Dusk is about earlier. So she's just going to try to claim her rightful place at the royal court. But I really did not like the first one, but I am glad I stuck with that because I did really enjoy the second book in that duology. So yeah, so that's, if you did not like Amber and Dusk, I do recommend reading Diamond and Dusk to see if you'll like that one, because in my opinion it was a lot more action based. I thought the romance between the main character and this one guy was much better developed as well. So yeah, so those are my thoughts. So that was that readathon for passing the time, and I have completed that. So I'm excited for that. That's going to be it. Let me know if you are a member of the Tilted Kettle Book Club on Discord, and if you participated in the Passing the Time readathon as well. Talk to me in the comment sections below. Let me know if you've read any of these books or books by any of these authors. And until next time, stay true to yourself and enjoy a good book, and I'll talk to you later.